Okay. Hi, everybody. Julie from Warwick's. Having some technical difficulties today. So sorry that we couldn't come to you live via Facebook, but for some reason, Zoom and Facebook aren't working for me. They're probably fine. It's probably just operator error, but we'll deal with that after we get done with this call. So once again, we're here coming to you from Warwick's remotely. Oh, we just lost Rick, but hopefully he'll come back in.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a fun day for technology. Let's just chalk it up to 2020.
I'm glad I'm going first, so in case I drop out.
There you go. You can get all your books talked about. And we'll bring Rick back in now. So again, just for those of you who are seeing this maybe for the first time, just wanted to let you know that we will be putting in the chat function of Facebook everybody's books. You can get books anyway. You can get a book and get it from Warwick. So email us, not email us, shop online with us. And here comes Amanda. So we'll get Amanda in here too. So anyways, it's, easy to get books from us. Amanda will be putting all of the books in the chat function of Facebook once we get it out there. So Rick and Amanda, just letting you guys know that we are recording right now. So anyways, we will start it off. Let's do a tea time record. Let's get something heavier than water in our cups.
I know, we need a little extra today.
I think I need a little extra today. So I think there's some great books to talk about, though. I know that I've got a few that I want to mention just briefly. So I think it's going to be a great recommendation. So anyways, Tom, I'm going to throw it off to you. And here we go.
All right. My first book, I'm talking about two really satisfying reads today. Just fun, but very smart books. The first, and both are on sale tomorrow. So the first one is by Matt Haig. So Matt Haig is the author of, most recently, How to Stop Time. Before that, and this plays a role. Reasons to Stay Alive was a paperback original from a few years ago, which was a serious book about depression and how he has dealt with. He's been very open about his battle with depression. And this has been a book that has been really important around the world. The new book that's on sale tomorrow is The Midnight Library. So to me, it kind of combines the themes of Reasons to Stay Alive with How to Stop Time. So he's telling a fantastic, fabulous, story. How to Stop Time was time travel. The new book is The Midnight Library is about, so the main character is Nora. She's 35 years old, and she's watched her life, which she feels like is a dead end. She didn't marry the guy that she thought she would. She didn't do the things in her, her professional life that she thought she should. And she's really reached the end. And so she does, decide to end it all. She sees her life as kind of a black hole. And when she does it, she enters the Midnight Library, which is a place in the novel between life and death. And I love that we all love that it's a library, of course. Where what better place to explore your life or lives? So every book in the library is a chance to live your life over again, or live a part of your life in a way that you didn't. So she's able to experience the things that she didn't in her present life. So it's in between. And so she's really trying to figure out where she belongs in the world. And that's what happens in the book. It's very, he feels so much affection for his characters, and you really feel that in the book for Nora. And so I feel like this book is the fiction version of Reasons to Stay Alive, because that's what she's finding in the library, are reasons to stay alive. But it's entertaining. It is fantastic, and it's a book about books. It's a book about libraries. It's really wonderful. So he really has hit his stride, I think. How to Stop Time with a couple of years ago, and now Midnight Library. This is already a big UK bestseller, and I'm sure will be a bestseller here as well.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. And we're hosting him. I
didn't realize that. Oh, good.
Yeah, we're hosting him.
Perfect.
And I think it's at noon on and I'll find the exact date, but I think it's around October 17th or something. Here comes Amanda.
It's the 13th at noon. Yes.
At noon.
Oh, terrific.
Because he's in the UK.
Which is 7 in the UK, right? Or something.
Right. really excited to host him because we met him at that author dinner. He's a really great guy that you did a few years ago.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
really great.
I'm so happy, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy for his success, which has been a long time coming. So
Yeah. We publish a lot of his, or distribute a lot of his children's titles in in America, too. So I actually have one, a holiday title from him. So I might be talking about that in a future.
Oh, perfect.
In a future tea time. But I do think that I'm talking about something that I realized that Amanda may have talked about. Is that right? I think I am. Earthlings by
That's okay.
I just realized that you had already endorsed it, but that's how great this book is actually, and so I'm just going to roll with it. Okay, so excuse my discombobulation right off the bat. Woohoo,
love it. Hey, just chalk it up to today.
Well, I don't know, it's been a marathon for a while for me, and let me just tell you. So I don't know what it's about. Maybe it's the smoke, but Earthlings. This is from the best-selling author of Convenience Store Woman that did incredibly well. It sold over 1 million copies worldwide, and we sold 60,000 copies here in the States. So this is from Grove Press. It's a $25 hardcover. Sakaya Murata is the author, and it's coming out October 6th. So basically, this is the story of a woman. It follows her from her youth to an elderly woman who's married, but has always been seeking and always felt like she was on the outside of society. She thinks she's an alien. Her best friend as a child was a plush hedgehog. And finally, in her later years, realizes that, comes to grips with the fact that she may be an alien, and that's why she doesn't fit in. Breaks the bonds of the crushing societal norms, and just leaves to go and find the mystery, to solve the mysteries of the universe, or at least to ask the right questions, perhaps. This is a great book. I think it's going to do really well. Look at that cover. Come on. Cover. people are just gonna pick that up. And we just have another winner here. Murata was profiled in the New York Times when Convenience Store Woman came out, and she has such a growing and enthusiastic following here that I just think the time is right for this next book. So I think you're going to do well with this through the holidays.
Yep, I think so too. And it's gonna be that little niche that I think it's gonna be really good for us. So thanks, Andrea.
Yeah.
All right, Gabe, on to you.
All right, I've got two unusual books. Usually, I find myself, maybe because I'm lazy, saying you've read this book before, and this is done very differently. But I've got two really original works today, and the first one is Hinged by Natalie Zena Walschaerts. That's the jacket. I haven't gotten my copy, and I'm a little upset because it went on sale. But this is one of those special books that you just can't put down, and it is such a unique setting. So the setting is in the land of superheroes. Our young protagonist Anna goes to work for a minor, small time maybe not quite a super villain, but an evil villain at this point. And he's the Electric Eel. So she's people that work for these villains are called henches. So she becomes a hench because she's running spreadsheets for this guy, doing field work. And at a photo op, she discovers that she is just sort of the eye candy at this photo op. So there are a lot of issues at play here. So some of the women issues, the characters that populate the book all have their own personal issues that come to light. So big picture, land of the superheroes, Anna working for the bad guys at this conference. The conference is interrupted by a really grade A superhero who kills a bunch of henches, does a ton of property damage, and breaks Anna's femur. So Anna's kind of ticked off, and spends her time recuperating, crunching numbers, and starts a blog site that starts chronicling how much superheroes cost us. So then she catches the attention of a big arch villain. So it kind of goes like that, and all the calamities of all of a sudden she's a good guy, she's a bad guy. Is she a good guy? The good guys. So it turns your world inside out. The visions are all very unique. The points of views are all really spot on, and you just and you see so much about people's vision of their own world and how people view other people. There's just a lot of great stuff here on societal norms and what's right, gender roles, everything that is relevant. And I talked about Jess Walter. I will talk about Jess Walter down the road. It's one of those books. It's got one of the things about it is everything that is going on in this book. You could oh my God, that happened Tuesday here in America. That's going on right now. This is at a more social level, individual kind of a personal level, but it's just wonderful. And it's a page turner. The trade reviews have been, starred trade reviews. I think Publishers Weekly and Booklist have given it a star review. So it's one of those books to look out for. Get in front of the curve. Again, really unique. Really unique. I love saying that. It's a unique novel that will transport you and will blow your mind and get you asking a lot of questions. It's going to be a great book club book. It's going to be a great book club book.
Sounds like a good book for a gift kind of book, just to give somebody.
The thing about this book is it really is. It's you don't know. It's usually you read a book and it's oh, that's a guy's book or that's a woman's book. This is one of those books that it's just wow. I want to share this with a lot of different people. It doesn't matter who the issues are really, really universal.
Yeah. And the thing that I love about this and about independent booksellers, about you guys doing this stuff too, it's I always love it. You heard it here first. It's I love that. It's you heard it here first. Sometimes people remember that. Sometimes they don't, but we like to brag about that. All right, Rick, on to you.
Okay. Actually, I keep getting kicked out of the Zoom room. So if this doesn't work, you can edit me out, but I'll give it a go here. The first book I want to talk about is called Full Plate. It's actually a cookbook. It's by Ayesha Curry, who is the wife of Stephen Curry, the renowned basketball player for the Golden State Warriors. This is a phenomenal cookbook. She's got 100 recipes in here. She used to be a star of Family Food Night, which is a show on ABC, and she's written several cookbooks before. But as I said, there's over 100 recipes in here. It's all full color. She's got everything from sheet pan dishes to one-pot pastry dishes to health salads and cooking with her for kid-friendly meals. And her motto is cooking with your family is a great way to build relationships. But it's a beautiful cookbook. It's a great gift book. It came out last week. And I would urge your customers to pick it up before we run out.
Well, and I was going to say that too. It's not I haven't said it yet, and it's the whole ABA. October is the new December. It's, so it is right. Get your gift books now, and especially books like that, where it's just where it's not going to, a reprint is not going to be easy. And what'll probably end up happening, it'll be on some list that comes out December 1st, and everybody be where is it? And it's already gone. So, so shop early.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom, back to you.
Okay, so I have been, Nick Hornby and I have been together. I've been selling Nick Hornby since we first published High Fidelity a couple decades ago. And the new book, on sale tomorrow, is Just Like You. And he doesn't write, it's been 5 years since the last book. That was Funny Girl. So he really takes his time. And when the time comes, the books are everything you want if you love Nick Hornby, which I do. So the new book is set in 2016. So Brexit is in the background of the characters' lives for sure. It's both takes place primarily just before the vote and a little bit after. But it's a love story between Lucy, who's a 42-year-old mother of two, a white British sort of middle-class woman. She's just separated from her husband, and she falls in love with a 22-year-old Black working-class Londoner. So it's about their relationship and how they make it work or don't. And so it's a lot about race and class. But what's great about, and Brexit, but what's great about Nick Hornby is that he never loses sight of the characters. It's hilarious, it's witty, the dialogue is incredible. He, just like Matt Haig, you can tell he loves these characters. And the political background is there to ground it, but it does not overwhelm the book at all. so you can read it safely during this time of tumult and what's coming. We don't know what's coming tomorrow. I guess maybe also we know how that worked out, and so we can at least look back on it as, 4 years ago, this is what was going on. But anyway, it's a new Nick Hornby, always cause for celebration. It's really great. And you can tell from the title, I mean, just like you, it's really about, in all these different divides, it's about what's similar, what's alike about all of us, especially about these two characters who really don't belong together by the rules of society, but there they are. So just like you.
Remind me, how old again was she?
She's 42. And
he's
how old is he again? 22.
22.
And it's not a big deal to him at all, but it's a big deal to her.
And probably to all her friends.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Her friends are either jealous or going, what the hell are you doing?
Right. 100%.
Or both.
Or both.
Or both.
Right.
Okay, Andrea, on that note, on to you.
I want to talk about this beautiful book, Like a Bird. This is by Fariha Rozin, a debut novelist, but an acclaimed poet. This is from Unnamed Press, that are one of our great small indie presses in Southern California. And it comes out, or it came out last week on the 15th. And let me see, the 15th, actually, that was 2 weeks ago, right? See, I don't even know what day it is.
I know.
mean,
God, I'm right with
holy
you.
cow, holy cow. Anyway, it's a $26 hardcover. And the thing that is really striking about this book is it was 18 years in the making. Rozin had a dream when she was 12 that basically gave her the central themes of this book. And so she's been working on it, 18 years, like I say. She's now 30, and the future is bright for this one, let me tell you. This is a great debut. There was just a amazing feature in the New York Times book review this weekend. And the title of that, this is basically, we'll just lay out what this book is about. The title of that feature was, "In a Book About Trauma, She Hopes to Show What Survival Looks Like." And so the main character here, Talia Chatterjee, is a young woman growing up on the Upper West Side in New York City. Her family is distant. She has a loving older sister whom her family dotes on, while she is, Talia is misunderstood and not seen as pretty. There's also a skin color issue in this family of Bangladeshi immigrants to this country, very into skin color. The whiter you are, the more privilege you are seen in that community. And things start unraveling for our young Talia. Her sister commits suicide because of all the pressure, the societal pressure in their tight-knit community and also within the family. Talia is abused by a friend of the family and isn't believed and kicked out. And so this young teenager has to find her way. And through her struggles and some, I would say, some lucky encounters with good people, she learns that family is whomever you form it with. And it really deals about like a personal journey to redemption through friendships and the family you make and the greater community. And it's beautifully written. And I can't say enough good things about this book or Rozin. She is a star. What a great writer. So there you go.
And Unnamed always picks like really interesting books. They always have that something that's really unique about what they choose to publish. So
yeah, I just can't say enough about their publishing program. Tom actually is instrumental in helping bring Unnamed Press to PGW back in the day. He forwarded me some information about this press, and then I helped bring him aboard at PGW. So thanks, Tom.
Yeah,
my pleasure.
Everybody working together.
That's right.
Yep.
It was a while. That was a while ago now. That's
it was
funny.
a while ago, and
and they've done great. You're right. Fantastic stuff.
Very good. I'm really high in their editorial process there. I think they have great eyes, and so thanks. I'm glad you think so too.
All right, Gabe, on to you.
All right. I think I'm going to be talking about the first paperback reprint I've ever talked about at the 6 months we've been doing this. So, because it's just a wonderful book that was just went on sale in paperback a few weeks ago, but it deserves a shout out because it is such a wonderful book. So Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. The paperback looks just like that. Is just a lovely novel that did amazingly well for us. Kevin's first novel, The Family Fang, was this quirky, dark comedy, and we sold a lot of copies. Everybody was enthralled, and he sucked you in from the very first paragraph, the very first pages, sucked you in. And then he wrote Perfect Little World. John Irving wrote a really nice review about that, and he doesn't do a lot of reviews. And then Baby You're Gonna Be Mine was a collection of stories that sold surprisingly well for a collection of stories, and did.
It was so good. That was really good too.
A really good collection. There was a lot of bright spots which you find in these things and the stories sometimes. And so this is the new one, and it is just a great novel. Lillian and Madison grew up together, and they spent a lot of time side by side. And then they separate. They go their own ways, slights, whatever. And out of the blue, Lillian gets a call from Madison, and who has just married a politician and inherited his 2 kids because their mother died. So the kids and the mom had been tossed out on their ear when Dad met Madison. So the kids are damaged when they come to her, and they're so damaged that they spontaneously combust when they're upset, literally spontaneously combust when they're upset. And that's usually when I leave the picture and I'm gone on to the next. The goat starts talking, something like this happens, I'm on to the next thing. But you can't put this book down. It is just such a wonderful read. Parental love, maybe even it goes as far as that, but the bond that gets created with these 3, they get pushed aside. Of course, they're not in the main house, they're in a back house, which they somehow found out was the slaves' quarter, which is kind of apropos of how they feel they're being treated. But it's just this really, it's slightly predictable outcome, maybe. It's a really satisfying ending, but when you're in between those pages, you're in a really warm place and a really loving place. And it's just such a warm novel about damaged kids and people we have our own things. We all have our own baggage, no matter how great we life it. Very few people have had a perfectly great life, but she needs these kids as much as they need her, and they really create this unit. And it's a book that you got to read. It's a book that has been, like I said, it's done really, really well. Probably doesn't need my help, but it really is. It's in paperback, and it deserves to be read by a stack. Give them out for Christmas.
Yep.
Be ready with this one. It's a really wonderful tale.
It really is. I mean, I'm going to say a couple things about it. I think Adrian's the one that says, and it's interesting that John Irving gave the blurb because she calls her, and I'm sure she heard this too, but he's like the John Irving, his writing's like the John Irving of our time, the way he writes. I mean, he's so good. And 2 things you can, if you listen to it on Libro.fm too, it's a brilliant one to listen to. But I was going to bring this book up too, because you and Kim talked about it, I think last week. He actually gave a blurb on it. I finished this book this weekend. This was a great book. And I think it got a write-up in the New York Times, I think maybe this weekend. I think there was a write-up. Yeah, I think there was a write-up on it. Such a good book. In fact, Gabe, I sent you an email because it was a totally just like not really any part of the main story of the book, but I couldn't figure out why they adopted Duncan. So I still have to talk to somebody about that. I'll
talk to you about it off.
I might have to like email the author or something. Anyways, I digress. Anyways, Rick, on to you.
Okay. My next book is probably one of the most important books we'll publish this fall. It's called Stakes is High by Michael Denzel Smith. And he is talking about racism, and he says in order to figure out what to do from here, we need to really look at the past and see how we got here. It's just one of the most clear-eyed, passionate accounts of what's going on, and he's also very positive. He's very optimistic and looking at everything that's going on today, and it's so timely. He's a famous author. He wrote Invisible Man, best-selling author. He's also a producer and a director. So he has a lot going on, but I think he's going to be out and about this fall doing a lot of stuff. He's already gotten so many incredible reviews for this book. I know Warwick's is a huge supporter, and you have a good amount of copies on hand, so your customers can run in and pick them up.
Yeah, because they're just gobbling up books like that. I mean, it's just like everybody wants to just find out what to do, what's the right thing to do, what's the perspective to have. I mean, you need to have as many voices in the conversation as you can. I'm excited because I think he's going to be at one of the regional shows that we get to. Yeah, so we get to, sorry, all of you out there who are not booksellers, but maybe become a bookseller. You can go to regional shows and see cool things like authors like that. Just a little plug for the industry there. Thanks, Rick. Okay, we're gonna do a lightning round. I'm going to bump in on the lightning round a little bit because I usually don't talk like a lot about books. I just basically say read them because I like them. So trust me.
That's a good reason, though. If you like them, we should read them.
Okay, there you go. I know. So it kind of is like this. These three books actually are very. They're similar, but they're not. But the writing on all of them is just amazing. And I know that Steve already talked about the Butterfly Lampshade. So I just want to get this plug in so that Amanda gets it into the tea time, into the tea time. But Amy Bender and Margot Livesey and Lydia Millett, these books are just fantastic. They're not huge, so they're not a huge time commitment, but they're just brilliant. And Lydia's actually up for the National Book Award. I think she's on the long list for this. And I got this book back in, I think, April or maybe even before that, and it never really bubbled up. And I was like, oh, I should probably read it. It's on the list. I mean, I'm blowing through this thing. It's so good. So just trust me. Pick them up. They're good. Okay, lightning round. Tom, on to you.
Okay, so I'm holding up Abe. This is a printed out cover of Abe. If I was holding the actual book, I'm not sure I'd be able to hold the actual book. It is 1,000 pages, over 1,000 pages. So it's Abraham Lincoln in His Times by David Reynolds, out tomorrow, I think. Definitely going to be a book that it's already getting fantastic reviews. I mean, I always, whenever I see a Lincoln book, I wonder, do we need another Lincoln book? In this case, we do, and I think the time is right for another Lincoln book right now. So we can, because our president keeps referencing Lincoln like he's the best since Lincoln in all these different areas. So now we actually can see what the times were like in Lincoln's time, and that's really what sets the book apart. Is he spends a lot of time and has deep understanding of the culture, like the culture of the time, the pop culture, that made Lincoln into who he was. So he's very much a human figure in this book. Every generation needs, we're always revising Lincoln, especially our perceptions and thinking. So this is going to be a book that shows up on a lot of 10 best lists. And I would say if you are someone who knows that you will love this great new Lincoln biography, or you have someone you want to give it to as a gift, this is definitely one to buy early because it's 1,000 pages. I have a feeling we're going to have a hard time reprinting this as the reviews start to run. So Abraham Lincoln in His Times, or it's Abe. It's actually just called Abe. In His
close
Time.
friends.
So, yeah, exactly.
Abe. Sounds good, Tom. All right, Andrea, on to you.
Thanks. I want to talk about The Animal Wife. This published in early September 8th. It is $14.95 trade paperback. And this is by Laura Ehrlich. Excuse me, I forgot to mention the author's name, kind of a key point. And Red Hen Press, another SoCal publisher. Excuse me, they're actually in the Bay Area, but another one of our California stalwarts. Happy to be talking about this book. Short story collection, 15 short stories all about girls and women's transformation. Definitely fantastical here. So talking about transformations from girls into wives, mothers into monsters, taking a potion so you can see the future. So it's all about crossing thresholds in search of liberation from family duties, societal expectations, and also the prison of the mind. So I have kind of a little theme going here in my books today, I realized. So there you go. Animal wife.
Sounds good. Another good one. All right, Gabe.
I got the perfect lightning
Bring it home.
book. So this is The Writer's Library, The Authors You Love on the Books That Changed Their Lives by Nancy Pearl. This is a collection. It's a great collection. Russell Banks, T.C. Boyle, Susan Choi, Michael Chabon, Dave Eggers, Richard Ford, Louise Erdrich, Jane Hirschfield, Charles Johnson, Jonathan Detham, Madeline Miller, Donna Tarr, Amor Tolles. The list goes on. So they're interviews, and it's perfect for the reader. She gets a lot of questions answered about the reading life. So it is about their favorite book, but you also dig deep into things that they've read, books that they're reading now. So it's just a conversation about books. That's all this really is a conversation about books. And it hinges around books that have changed their life. But, I think most of us readers have had many books change our lives or improve them for sure. So that's all it is. Available in hardback, just out. Nancy Pearl, for those who don't know Nancy Pearl, she's probably the most famous librarian in America. She worked for the Seattle Public Library System forever and has her own NPR show, did a lot of local radio stuff. So she's a celeb. She's written her own little novel that was an Indie Next pick. So she's a book person, and people love sitting down. She's a fixture in the literary community of America. So Writer's Library.
Yeah. People love those kind of books because every time that is the number one question that we get every time we host an author is, what books influenced you? What are you reading? That is a perennial question that people have is, whatever. I'm thinking maybe we all need to put a book together on our great,
I like that idea.
Come on, we're famous now. We've been on Facebook since March.
We're on the internet.
We're on the internet. Come on, we can do it.
Well, if it gets us all our own action figures, I'm all for it because Nancy Pearl has her own action figure. That's true. Yeah, it's something to aspire to.
I
don't have that action figure now.
I want a bobblehead.
You're a what?
I want a bobblehead. All right, Rick, bring it home.
All righty. I just want to mention Nicholas Sparks has a brand new book just out called The Return. He will be at Warwick's, not at Warwick's, but he'll be, you guys are doing him on a virtual tour on Wednesday at 4:00. And he's in conversation with Ellen Hildebrand, which should be a real hoot. And, nobody writes love stories like Nicholas Sparks. So this is definitely one to pick up. It's fantastic.
Yep. And the bonus is we'll have signed book plates for people that if they buy the book through the event. So they'll get a signed book plate. Not right away. There was a little bit of a snafu, but we will eventually get everybody signed book plates for those. So that'll be a really good thing.
Nice.
So really excited about that one. That's a good event for us. So thank you for that, Hachette. So I'm going to end it off by really quickly. We did an event with Susie Carter, Power Your Profits, on last week. And again, we had a little bit of difficulty with Facebook on it. But for every small business owner out there, for every entrepreneur out there, especially right now with the pandemic and everything, she has got some great tips and some great information about how to not only weather this storm that we're in, but how to really, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to really getting the grips around money and how to really make good money as an entrepreneur. So, and she's giving Warwick's a little bit of a bonus if you send her your receipt for buying the book from Warwick. She'll hook you up with about $3,500 worth of her bonus tips, because she's one of those big speakers that gets lots of money when she goes out and does stuff. So it's kind of a nice little bonus. So anyways, if you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, check that book out. I think it's a good one for, especially for during this time. Lots of small businesses are in trouble. So anyways.
Can I mention something real quick, Julie?
You can, Amanda.
Hi. I just wanted to mention it's Banned Books Week. So celebrate your freedom to read your favorite banned book. And
before they take it away.
The Banned Books Week Coalition has a bunch of cool free events available this week, virtual events. So you can go onto bannedbooksweek.org and see what they're up to. It's really great.
Excellent. And that reminded me, Amanda, of next week, because of that cool thing that I talked about being in the book industry and getting to see some cool authors. Next week is our regional show. So we are still going to do tea time, but it's going to be at 3:00. So I don't know if any of you reps will be able to join us at 3. Hopefully, if not, it'll be me and Amanda talking about who knows what. But yeah, hey now, we'll keep you entertained. So we'll be on at 3:00 next week, and then we'll go back to 4:00. Make sure, Amanda, in Facebook when I post. Well, I'll think of. I guess I'm posting it. Never mind. I'll try to remind people that we're on at 3 next week. I don't know. What day is it? What are we doing? Anyways, I'm going to end the recording. Tea time recommendations. Thank you, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to everyone. And we will stop the recording. Thanks, everybody that's watching this, and we are off.